The next important element is that we need to anchor what we discuss here in practice. And one fundamental anchor that is missing is to anchor values and development into new forms of institutions and organizations. The institution and the organizational system are running behind this dialogue. We are much ahead of transforming this organization, and this is part of the next agenda. Another element, to be in the collective, we need to find new forms of, or collective forms of creating wealth and distributing wealth. It is not possible to have individualistic societies that are not creating collective wealth and are leaving behind half of the world, because the collective nature is going to fail the individual progress of societies. We have to mainstream human values, spiritual values, ethical values, moral values into public policy and public policy making. It does not exist a public policy that is value neutral. This is an error of intellect. Economics is not value neutral. Science is not value neutral. Science follows the establishment. Science follows the policy. Science follows the thinking and the fundamentals of any government. So because nothing is value neutral, this is the time for this dialogue to propose new forms of mainstreaming values into public policy. Another important element is that we have to pursue in a harmonious life what I call, and I was taught by my teacher Lama Ganchen, the 200% society. A society that is not only materially rich, but is also spiritually rich. A 200% society indicates, and this is not only theory, but is 45 years of experience, that material revolution cannot go along without a human-based revolution. This does not exist, and this is the problem we have now. Einstein, in his last book, used to say, I am not concerned about the speed of technological change. I am concerned about the level of consciousness of people who use technology. It's not an issue of nuclear energy, because nuclear energy is fundamental to cure breast cancer. It's about the mind looking for the destruction of humanity with the same sword. Wine is not the problem, it's the one who drinks it. So this is the fundamental.
That's a good one.
What is this new ecomorality? Ecomorality should be based in something very fundamental. That the destruction of nature is not only destroying our material existence, the destruction of nature is also destroying our own individual transformation. And the example that the princess put of bringing people to nature and people changing their mind as soon as they were in contact with nature is the same principle. The second thing in ecomorality is that must be founded in some humanistic and spiritual laws. One fundamental spiritual law is that everything is interdependent between human and humans, between human and all living beings, and between humans and nature. There is the law of equal intelligence. Nature is not less intelligent than human beings. If we are feeding ourselves from nature and you think that nature is inferior, wait until what happens to the genetic evolution of humanity. If they are less intelligent, our cells are having less wisdom and less capacity to advance. I would like to say that it's very important to understand that there is an incredible symmetry between our capacity to develop as individuals, as collective human beings, and the quality of the environment. And we are seeing today how strongly we affect the environment and how strongly the environment affects us individually. Stress. We talk about tsunamis. I give a lecture in the United States, not only about tsunami, but about inner tsunami. And Lama Ganchen and myself, I write in a book about the spiritual dimension of global warming. in which we're saying that it's not only the elimination of CO2 that is going to do it, but the elimination of our inner warming, because inner warming is affecting also the environment. I'd like to say that in really focusing on the self-realization of values, we have to really follow sometimes the example that we have seen in many nations. I am proclaiming the importance of collective values more than individualistic values. And I think we have here in this dialogue an incredible, precious opportunity to learn from the Chinese society, because Chinese people know very well how to manage collectives. What we need to do is to gain from their experience and think about the global collective, so China can enshrine itself in the global collective as well as we ourselves with China. But to enshrine ourselves in the global collective, we need to create the collective being, the global being. And this global being cannot exist without identity. So the global being is that one that has the capacity to become the other without losing its own identity. Global being and universality doesn't mean to be uniform. It means capacity. Global being means capacity to become the other without losing our own identity. We cannot be global beings without our own values. To go to globalization without values is a suicidal path, and we are seeing this in many societies. Why our societies are not embracing eco-morality in the way I'm presenting it today? One fundamental reason is because we live in toxic societies. Our human reality is being intoxicated, not only by drug, alcohol, and things like that, but we are intoxicated by violence, by bad communication, by bad thinking, by negativity. If we're going to really advance this dialogue, one key policy is to detox the children, is to detox our society, because our mind now is not functioning. Our emotions are not functioning. So the only resource that is left is realization and our self-capacities. This is the moment to detox. This is the moment in which we need to bring values in the collective, but in a new collective. To add complexity to my presentation, I must say that there is a fundamental issue we're facing in society today, which is a society that will be without borders. And my question to you is, values in development, a life-sustaining civilization, but we should not look at a life-sustaining civilization with borders. Here I am, don't touch me. This is my nation. This does not exist anymore. We know in economics and finance that there are no borders. And little and sooner we will find that more than ever before, the values that are being enshrined in this dialogue will be the fundamental and probably the only values that we carry ourselves to a world without borders. Will be democracy without borders? Would it be really human self-realization without borders? This is something so fundamental when this dialogue needs to look at the future or the next dialogue, to put this issue of a world without borders.